Yes, what's going on? I'm Mex. Welcome back to Players World. Today we're here at the Auto Finesse Detailing Academy. We're going to find out what Auto Finesse is all about, and we're going to check out some of their cars. So let's go. So we're here with James, big boss at Auto Finesse. James, thanks for having us today.
Thanks for coming.
So Auto Finesse, obviously, we're here at your Detailing Academy. It's amazing in here, but I just want to touch on the journey that you've had from obviously James day one to where we're at now.
Yeah, so the business started with me literally leaving school, needed a job, was cleaning cars. I started up my own valeting business that got quite good, and I started to take it quite seriously, what I was doing. We got a good reputation. It was me and another guy working. We got a unit, and then the products that you see actually kind of happened by accident. We wanted to do a leave behind for customers, and back in those days we were recommending customers get products from all over the place to maintain their car. So we wanted to be like a one-stop shop and have the solution for people. So we started to put together quite a basic range of just maintenance products, and then when we kind of launched that, we had people just blowing up the phone asking will this be for sale? Are you going to sell it? Are you taking on dealers? And that gave me the realization where I thought, actually, okay, yeah, we may as well. It helped with getting the volume up in terms of minimum order quantities and stuff. And then it kind of went from there. A lot of our success has come from those early detailing days. I've done that for like 7 or 8 years. So it was using the products and knowing what they do and knowing the pitfalls of the products on the market that helped us get that step up from what was currently available.
Find that gap where,
And then that's kind of what this place is all about, which keeps our hand in detailing. We're constantly detailing cars, trying and testing not only our current products, but new products we're bringing to the market, and also our competitors' products, putting them against ours and seeing if there's anywhere we can improve our offering as a whole. So that is kind of our journey, A to B, of where we're at.
That sounds like obviously really, really good journey. The steps you took, finding the gaps in the market, obviously it sees you being as successful as you are now. I'll put you on the spot. How many, what's your range lines? How many range?
258 currently, 258 products. Mate, no, there might be another 7 on top of that. We just launched 7 new products. So.
Okay, so 250, that's a lot of products.
It is a lot of stock management.
Yeah.
That is what I spend my time stressing over at the minute, is stuff I never thought would even be an issue.
But I mean, that's obviously due to your success, and how well you guys have done and where you have come from and stuff. And obviously we're here surrounded by some really, really cool cars.
Yeah, it's a bit of a random collection of cars that I liked them, so I built them, and then,
I was going to touch on that. Obviously, obviously we've got Twingo over there that I've seen you rip around, Branson, Caddy, Mark II. So shall we walk around? Maybe let's talk about your Caddy. I think this is this the one that's been around the longest?
Original.
Yeah,
this is the OG Caddy. So me and Simon, who was one of my first ever employees, me and him built this car in a chicken shed. It actually started off a little bit different to that. So we had a shoot planned, and we borrowed this as a backup car for that shoot. The car that was meant to turn up was meant to be an American classic, because we were kind of going down that whole pin-up route back then. That didn't turn up, so we ended up using the backup car, which was this. So it's painted like this. It wasn't on air or anything like that, but it was a clean, tidy, nice truck. It was one of our friends. When I gave it back to him, I was like, if you ever sell that, give me first offer. He's like, I'm never selling that car. About 2 weeks later, he rings me up. He's like, Caddy's for sale. So I was like, I'll have it. And then, like everything, I thought I'd do a couple of mods. I thought it'd be easy to put one on air. It weren't. It was a lot of work. It was horrible. We had a ramp that went about that high. So we managed to put the beam on it that we bought in from the States. Back then, Airlift didn't do these front struts, so we had to get a coil over and make like a bag over coil.
Yeah.
It didn't have this Porsche engine in back then. This is a more recent addition. It had a 2-litre 16 valve, a lot like that new one, but we wanted to change it up. That engine was getting a bit old, it was smoking a lot, it was knocking. It was time for that to go. So we went with this route. We did lean on some other people and their expertise to get that in there and get it running, because that was a minefield. This is actually a Porsche code engine, so it's not an R32 with the inlet manifold on. That is the question everyone asks. No, it is an actual Porsche engine, albeit the same as an R32 engine. I believe it's got a slightly different firing order. because this would have been inline in the vehicle or not transverse.
Rather than transverse, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, it's a 32 really.
Is it the same sort of power? As a...
Yeah, so with Harris maps, obviously we've
Yeah.
got catalytic converters and some of the other sensors. It's about 300 horsepower, I think it made on rollers, which is too much.
Which is for this, I'm sure.
Too much.
Yeah, it's wild. But yeah, this is what when I picture Auto Finesse and I picture a car, this is what I see in my mind.
This is like our poster car.
Even though obviously we'll touch on the other ones and you've grown past that, this is like, as you say, the OG as well.
This is, apart from that engine as well, pretty much as it was. It's had odd bit of paint here and there, but it was just to sort out blistering and stuff like you get on old cars. But it's still in the same paint job as when we bought it, and that paint job was about 6 or 7 years old when we picked it up. So this is probably knocking on the door of 12 years, 13 years old, this paintwork.
That's really good.
But again, for us, that's a good thing because we want to show what detailing can achieve, as opposed to going all out there with a big money paint job and then making it look shiny. It's kind of easy.
Of course, yeah. I think naturally we should go and have a look at your other one.
Look at the new one. So this is the latest addition to the fleet. Obviously, another Mk1 Caddy. Kind of goes back to how we built this one originally. 2 litre 16 valve in this one. Not gone for carbs, gone for bodies that look like carbs. So these are the Genvis. So they look very traditional, but they're a throttle body. Just reliability with carbs was a nightmare for us back then.
Yeah, because obviously you daily this, so reliability.
I don't daily any of these. Daily an old truck.
Yeah. No, this looks really, really cool. I love them. Obviously, the interior wheels are great. I love the interior. That's like, is that like a Mark III Recaro chopped? Mark II Recaro?
Yeah, so they're actually, some of the VW purists will want to murder me for what I've done to these. Those were electric rainbow Recaros. Oh. We chopped them up. I've still got the material, so we could put them back. We've only deleted the headrests. They could go back to normal seats, but I've had these sitting about forever, not used them, and they're just gathering dust. And I'll be honest, I've built a few VWs now, and I don't really see us building any more Mark 1, Mark 2 variants for a while. So rather than sitting in the shed, I was like, let's go with them. So they all work as well. All the electric parts of them work too. The orange was a bit of a random wild choice. Originally we were going to do a brown leather interior. It was a bit boring. I think looking back now it's too safe.
Yeah. No, I think the orange absolutely bangs. Yeah, and
it was really because of the stripes. We'd done the stripes and it worked so well, and we were like, we need to bring that inside as well.
Okay, so the stripes came first, then the interior.
So the pinstriping was first. We knew those seats were going in that car, but we didn't know what colour we were doing or anything else. And then, the orange just come from that, really.
Yeah, this is wicked. Again, on air?
On air, so 4-link beam, airlift struts on the front, little bit of cutting and chopping to get it as low as it's sitting now. That is pretty much about as low as you can get it without doing major chopping
and dropping, yeah. Perfect. Before we move on to your other Volkswagen in here, let's talk about this. I guess it's like a matching counterpart.
Yeah, bit of a random last-minute purchase. This one, actually at Players show, and guy we know, Lee from Ruckstyle. Ruckshop UK. He was there. We've talked about building a bike a few times. I like what he does with the whole open frame, but it weren't sort of traditional and old school looking enough for us. Yeah. He showed me a picture of one of these. This is what they class a Metrock. So it's a Metropolitan, like a little scooter called a Metropolitan front end, put on a ruckus and done the same, with the
with that sort of fairing at the front and stuff.
Yeah. So it's the mudguard's off of something else actually. It was off of, can't remember the name, but another small bike. And then this comes from a Metropolitan, so the headlight and this fairing. And I think it just softens it a bit, gives it more of an old school look. So yeah, I kind of fell in love with it from there. Might have had a couple of drinks at the show because we weren't having to drive home or anything with it being a 2-dayer. And I was like, yeah, go wild, build me one.
Pulls out a stack of money and
that was the wound I got after once I'd sobered up.
This is perfect. Yeah, I love this hat, Tyson. You know what this reminds me of though? You know that guy from Monster Inc? The one-eyed Monster Inc guy. This
this is put me off my own bike. I'm going to sell that now. So this this was delivered to us at Ultimate Stance. We'd commissioned the build at Players, and then originally it was going to be done the same colour as our Chevy, and this was going to be like a matching bike for the Chevy. But then we were mid-build with this, and we thought, yeah, let's tie it in with that, kind of drop 2 builds at once. So that moved the deadline a little bit, gave it a firm deadline. It was Ultimate Stance, so we're dropping together. And he just about pulled it off. I think the guy finished building this the night before, put it in his van, brought it down, and then it was there for show day. So
bang on. I was going to say, because I think that's where I saw it first, but that makes sense.
That's where I saw it first. So I hadn't even seen pictures of it. He was sending pictures to Simon, and I was like, show me, and he's like, no. I thought, oh, this is going to look terrible. This is not going to have gone well, because I let Simon loose. I was like, oh no, he's made decisions on things. He's going to have like pink bits and blue bits, but yeah, it come out all right actually. He stuck to the
I think
path.
it looks apart. So that's Volkswagen number 3 of how many Volkswagens do you own? Do you know? Putting you on the spot.
4 or 5?
4 or 5. All right.
Not including like vans. No,
that
like
don't count. No.
4 or 5.
Cool,
I've had a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
I do like Volkswagens, and back when we were building the Mark IIs, it was a cool vibe because there was 3 or 4 of us that all worked here, and it was like a close-knit thing. And we all had 20 valve Mark IIs. We drove them to like shows in Belgium, in France, like as a whole little crew. It was good. Simon had his, that used to fall apart a lot. A guy called Sam, he built a blue one in like a bright BMW blue with like a Lambo interior and stuff. That was a really cool car, got a lot of attention. Had got RAs and made them to splits and stuff. And we built them all ourselves, so we all helped each other build the cars. So we all had a show car, but they weren't like full out show cars. They were driven and enjoyed. We went to a lot of little meets and stuff in them. So that's where the love for the Mark IIs really came. And if you drive a Mark II compared to driving sat on a Mark I chassis, there's a big difference. It feels more like a modern car. You can
an early modern car.
Not so much this one, because I messed with it a little bit too much.
So what have you messed with? Obviously, there's something sticking out.
Yeah, something's hanging out the front light. That is the oil cooler. We were going for like a Jack vibe with this when we built it. Thought it was cool at the time, still kind of is, and I've got a hole down there to fill in if I try and change my mind.
I dig it. I think it's
still a 20 valve, but it's a fully built engine, big turbo, bog warner on the back. It's about 435 brake horsepower, limited slip diff, pretty much everything you would want. It's a handful for a front wheel drive car. I bet it's a lot. Interior stripped out, caged. Got the brides in there, which tie in with that kind of JDM theme we were going with. It is on air. Some people hate it, some people rate it. The reason this car was ever built was you used to have a BBS body kitted Mark II Golf. That was my one that I drove about. It was a nice car, but it was built on an original car. Then this camo body kit come up when I was in Belgium. Some guy said, I've got a really cool kit for a Mark II. So I bought the body kit before I bought the car, and then I kind of had to build the car. And then this was like version 2, and I rectified a lot of things that I've done wrong in the BBS car, or felt not so much wrong, but felt I would have done different. And we done it with this one. I wanted to go a bit further with an engine, have top mount turbo, so people like
bit
see
showy,
it. So that was this one. Driven it about a bit. It does get driven on the road. I try and drive as many of them as we can, but not long distance to shows. Like we get a bit of hate for turning up at like Ultimate Stance and Ultimate Dubs with cars on a truck. But for us, we're taking 5 or 6 cars. We've got to set up a stand. I don't want to have to clean them all as well. You can see they're sitting here nice and clean. In my mind, I'm like, let's just put them on the trailer and get them there.
Then it gets cleaned. Less work too. No, totally understandable.
So yeah, this one, again, BBS E50, similar wheel to what's on the Mk1 Caddy, just a bit of a different spec and setup. They're a bit more motorsporty looking. Quite a lot of trimming on the kit to get it to air out the way it does. So yeah, it's a full original camo kit. And I've had this about 5 years, this car, and it's took me 5 years to find another full original kit with all the brackets still in the box. We do actually have the camo front grille, but I've never put it on for some reason. I've just not.
I love that. I love that front grille.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's a bit Marmite. It's a bit Marmite, but
we've got the bonnet vent as well, which I want to cut this bonnet out and put that there because that'd feed the turbo nice. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, you know, when you run out of a little bit of, not enthusiasm, but I've done so much with this car, got to a point where I'm like, no, we'll stop now. We'll
You can always revisit it, and if you got the bits, it's not, it's not like sometimes the fun's in the hunt.
Yeah.
Which is, if you were still hunting for that grill or that vent or whatever, then you might have a bit more enthusiasm for it.
It's so hard to find the camo
them
parts now as well. They're just not popping up like they used to. So I'm just kind of waiting. I might switch it up one year and maybe even take it off air and actually take it on track a bit.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, thanks. I love this. I think of your builds, I think this is my favorite. Every time I've been here, I always like it.
Favorite one?
Yeah, I'm a Mark II. I say I'm a Mark III guy really, but Mark II is really like getting me there.
We can start it and take it out on the road. See if you still like it then. What we got?
A present from the boss.
Thought it was food. So this one was built for a YouTube video we wanted to do with like a realistic vibe. We wanted to build something that somebody could probably ascertain and build themselves, as apart from going with all like the Gucci bits, everything being top drawer. There are some parts that were top level.
Spicy.
You got to have the right wheels. The wheels are never going to sacrifice.
No, of course,
it.
no, never.
But yeah, we didn't go mental on it. We haven't stripped it to a shell and rebuilt it. It's a fully original car. In from what we can make of it, going around it with our paint gauges and looking at it, the majority of this car is original paint, which is something we really like about it. So we can just detail it and show a really original car. Stripped out the interior, there were some things, I don't know if you've driven a stock one of these, but it's like suspension and brakes are probably the things that make it feel like an old car when they're stock. So they were two that on the hit list to do straight away, but I wanted to adjust the ride height anyway, so that is a given. Just BC coilovers, these wheels, Toyo R888Rs. And then the interior's been stripped out. It's got some bride seats in there. It's got a half cage in the back to tie it in. And then just all the teal accents that kind of make it an Auto Finesse car. It's like a colour we run with, unless it's orange.
Or burgundy or gold.
Yeah, all right. I'm trying to get the theme in.
I spotted the calipers in what I would have called a Tiffany colour. Like, so that.
Yeah, it was meant to come out darker than that. We'll blame Midge.
No, I love this. In the white is an absolute, I mean, R32s, I think for me are the best of the GTRs. Visually, and then in white, Gurney flap.
I know a lot of people like the 34, and I get it. 34.
You get why the 34 is the 34 on the Godzilla, but realistically, I think the R32 visually, it's the right amount of modern with the right amount of
it still feels old.
For me, these are the arches, really 90s sort of arches and stuff for me.
It sits in here well with like the other cars as well. So I always try and think about the colours in the other cars. I mean, they're all sitting together, whether it's on a show stand or they're just parked up together. I'm a bit weird. They all have. I've got a lot of white cars actually, which I should probably break up at some time.
So obviously this is only just a part of your collection. You were saying you've got roughly how many?
14 or 20, I don't actually know. You know when you've got a problem and don't want to admit
that with me with shoes.
You don't want to fully admit. I don't count.
No.
But there's a couple of other bits. A lot of the times, like with anything, they're never fully finished. There's always little bits and bobs you want to do. And a lot of the other cars that are not here are used a bit more. So we've got the M2, that's on the track a lot. That's back with our friends at Regal, having bigger brakes fitted. We've got the GR Yaris, which is actually out on the road being used, getting dirty for a couple of videos. We've got the Connect, which is sitting outside, just like a detailing van, a bagged M Sport. What else have we got? There's other cars, and I forget what they are half the time. I need to add something Porsche into the collection.
I think that's due. And you know what would be a good place for you to bring all your collection, or as much as your collection, and a Porsche if you add it in.
Porsche, if I had it, I'm going to get it. It's going to happen. You just got to search the right one.
That's it. So I hear through the grapevine that you're going to be coming bigger and badder to Classic next year.
So Players Classic, we finally kind of got that collaboration, and it's happened. It's been a few years in the making, and I've mentioned it a long time ago. It's been one of the shows. The original Players was obviously just down the road from here when it was at North Weald, and then we've come to Classic since it first started at Goodwood. We were there at the first one, and always wanted to do a bit more, and So
now we have the Auto Finesse Concours d'Elegance section. What's sort of your idea or vibe for that? area, what sort of would you like to display?
I'd like to see cars like this.
Yeah.
So modified, but really well detailed, clean examples. So not the most wild, who's cut the most off and stuck the most on. I get that, and there's a place for that. Some people love that, but I like those, you know, clean builds where you can tell it don't shout at you instantly that tons and tons of time's been poured into it until you start looking.
You start looking to the
and
detail.
then you think, oh, okay, someone's put a lot of effort into this. That's what I'd like to see a lot of there. If there was a good selection of cars like that, and it made it hard to pick between, then yeah, that
seems right, and it's fitting to the name. So when you guys apply to the Auto Finesse,
make sure your car's clean.
Make sure your car's clean. But yeah, so James will be looking for that type of car where.
Oh, am I picking the cars? I didn't realise I had to do that. That weren't in the contract. That's you, boys. I'll dip out of that one.
Okay, James and his team will be looking for a clean, like high detail car.
Yeah.
Then yeah, okay,
like
that
proper builds. If that makes sense.
No,
like,
no, for sure.
Stuff just took a bit of time.
That's it. Perfect. All right. So, man, thank you for having us and showing us around. And welcome once again to the Player Shows. Yeah, so there you have it. Auto Finesse, new sponsors for Players. Thanks to James for showing us around, talking to us about the brand from where he started to where it's at now. Let us know which of the cars we showed you is your favorite one. I know which one's mine. And while he's not looking, I'm just gonna go and fill my pockets. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.
From the States or other countries that were very difficult to get in. That's fuck that, innit? I hate that.